Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Democrats are cheering. 51 seats in the Senate. A massive Democrat victory. The red wave has been stopped. Well, not so fast, Democrats. Let's take that 51 back down to 50. The Democrat Party has officially lost a seat in the Senate as former Democrat Senator Kyrsten Sinema exits the party, officially registering as an Arizona independent. Friends, the phenomenon grows. Democrats in a certain way are united, but they're also incredibly divided. And while of course Republicans have the same issues, there's a division between neocon never-Trumpers and the Republican populist base, it's not an issue that's too far gone, unhealable, incurable, but increasingly so as we're seeing with Democrats, it's getting to the point of divorce. I just made a video on a New York City councilman exiting the Democrat Party, and that comes after Tulsi Gabbard leaving the Democrat Party, a North Vegas mayor, another individual I believe in South Texas, Andrew Yang also leaving the party. I mean, the list goes on. More and more politicians and people are exiting the Democrat Party than ever before. It seems as though when we're talking about the implosion of the Democrat Party, it's no more a question of if, but when. Let me update you guys on the most recent news that has liberal heads exploding. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so take a look at this. Senator Kyrsten Sinema leaves the Democratic Party, shaking up U.S. Senate. Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema has officially left the Democratic Party and changed her affiliation to independent. Her move weakens Democrats' already tenuous hold on the upper chamber. Prior to her announcement, Democrats had a 51-50 majority in the U.S. Senate. In a guest column for the Arizona Republic, Sinema slammed, quote, partisanship and the stranglehold that it has on both major parties. Sinema, who is up for re-election in 2024, said that she will continue to caucus with Democrats. Here's what she had to say. Everyday Americans are increasingly left behind by national parties' rigid partisanship, which has hardened in recent years. Pressures in both parties pull leaders to the edges, allowing the loudest, most extreme voices to determine their respective parties' priorities and expecting the rest of us to fall in line. In catering to the fringes, neither party has demonstrated much tolerance for diversity of thought, she wrote. Bipartisan compromise is seen as a rarely acceptable last resort rather than the best way to achieve lasting progress. Payback against the opposition party has replaced thoughtful legislation. There's a disconnect between what everyday Americans want and deserve from our politics and what political parties are offering. I am privileged to represent Arizonans of all backgrounds and belief in the U.S. Senate, and am honored to travel to every corner of our state, listening to your concerns and ideas. While Arizonans don't all agree on the issues, we are united in our values of hard work, common sense, and independence. And so look, the left is obviously freaking out over what's going on here. I'll show you some of the tweets later. The right is celebrating as if it's a massive victory. But like most things, at least in my opinion, the truth is kind of somewhere in the middle. The idea that this is a major blow to the Democrats is true, but the question is to what extent. Kyrsten Sinema has a voting track record of 93% in support with the Democrat legislative agenda. The fact of the matter is that she's a left-wing politician, at least to a certain extent. So is this a massive win for Republicans? Not exactly, but the question is, now that she's no longer beholden to Democrat DNC influence, Democrat strategy organizations like the DCCC, and of course Democrat big money, is her voting record going to change? I have a feeling that it's possible. Clearly, we can tell by what Kyrsten Sinema is saying here. She's unhappy with both sides, believing that they're both operating on the fringes of the political spectrum. And while she's claiming it's a both sides issue, the important thing I think to identify here is that she's essentially accusing the Democrat Party of going a little bit crazy. I mean, that's the relevant point for me because she is in fact a Democrat. She's essentially saying publicly that I no longer identify with the radical left that is hijacking the Democratic agenda. And we've seen Kyrsten Sinema stand in front of Joe Biden's radical agenda on multiple occasions. I'm just going to assume here that I think Kyrsten Sinema is going to be moving more towards the middle than ever before, because she no longer has anything to lose. The Democrats can no longer try to influence her one way or another. She's no longer part of the party. And that's certainly not a good thing for Democrats, who have these grand ambitions of an American left-wing socialist revolution. And boy oh boy is the Blue Anon crowd extremely unhappy. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez writes, "Not once in this long soliloquy does Sinema offer a single concrete value or policy that she believes in." She lays out no goals for Arizonans, no vision, no commitments, no healthcare, just vibes for Senate. People deserve more. Grateful this race and nomination has opened up. Victor She writes, "Hey, at Senator Sinema, wanted to remind you that more than 70% of young voters in Arizona voted Democratic in this past midterm election. And don't worry, because you're running for re-election in 2024, Gen Z will make sure that you never see political office again." Adam Parkomenko writes, "I see Kyrsten Sinema is still great at being the effing worst." And so the Democrat war on Kyrsten Sinema continues, and this has serious electoral implications. Personally, I think Democrats are about to shoot themselves in the foot. As you can see, they're really excited about this open seat in Arizona in 2024. In other words, they're going to split the left-wing vote, and Republicans are going to be rallied behind one Republican candidate vying for that seat. There's two outcomes that I see. Either Kyrsten Sinema gains popularity as an independent and cruises to victory and the Democrat strategy fails, or Democrats split their vote between two different candidates and the Republican essentially wins by default. Doesn't exactly seem like a winning strategy to me, but Democrats are furious, they're venting online, and once again they're proving to the world that they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, especially in their criticism of Kyrsten Sinema. I keep seeing tweets like this popping up. Kyrsten Sinema single-handedly stopped Democrats from ending tax breaks for hedge fund managers and private equity executives. Meanwhile, she received around $1 million in donations from Wall Street. Don't be fooled. Sinema isn't independent. She's beholden to her donors. Don't overthink Senator Kyrsten Sinema switching from Democrat to independent. She's not driven by ideology. She's driven by which corporations and lobbyists are giving her the most money, which makes her an elected mercenary, not an elected representative of the people. You don't say. Kyrsten Sinema is evil because she's taking her money from hedge funds and private equity. She's beholden to her donors. You realize that you're a supporter of the Democrat Party, right? Here's the breakdown. Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. Look where the money comes from. Hedge funds and private equity, pharmaceutical/health products, lobbyists, commercial banks, securities and investments, lawyers and law firms, civil servants and public officials. All of that money, all of the big institutional hedge fund lobbyist corporate money funds the Democrat establishment. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is supported by small dollar grassroots donors. These people have no idea what they're talking about. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe Kyrsten Sinema wants to be an independent because she's sick of the whole corporate Democrat vibe. I mean, I wouldn't blame her, and maybe she's also sick of you far-left lunatics who continue to try to ram down your incredibly unpopular ideas and policy decisions that Arizonan voters are not interested in. But in conclusion, this is an L for the Democrat Party and Democrat voters. Is it the biggest L of all time? Not exactly, but it's an L nonetheless. The Democrat Party continues to fracture, and really I guess the only question is, when is the Republican Party going to get its act together? Because considering all of the chaos, division, terrible image, and policy coming out of the Democrat Party, there are literally no more excuses. There is no excuse to not seeing electoral success for the GOP. And now we're seeing another possible competitive Senate seat in Arizona opening up. It's time to start coming up with a cohesive, coherent strategy as the Democrat Party grows weaker and weaker. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.